to another episode of Planet Philly. My name is Jason Joseph. There's Jen McGraw, but wait, hold up. Where is our third guest? I don't see him. Where's Nick Earnshaw? Jen, have you seen him?
I have not seen him. I have no clue what's going on right now. I'm just here.
Maybe he's just like walking his
No?
dog or something. Oh,
Oh.
whoa. Oh,
Oh.
man. There he is. Looking like a rock star.
Okay.
All right. I'm here, guys. I made it. We went around the universe. I took a dip into San Francisco a little bit. Kind of got what they're feeling, right? And, they think they're going to win. They think they have this rookie quarterback. It's going to come into Philadelphia and beat the Philadelphia freaking Eagles. I don't see it, guys. I don't see it. We're back here on Planet Philly. I'm ready to go. Jen's ready to go. Jason's ready to go. It's not the real one, but I got our 52 ring on. And I'm ready to add another bad boy to this. I'm ready for another one of these. I need one this weekend. We need another shirt, guys. We need another shirt. I need another one to add to the collection. I'm ready to go if I can get it off at some point. The Philadelphia Eagles playing the Conference Championship this weekend, guys. I'm ready to go. Listen, this is the biggest game we've had in a long time for the Philadelphia Eagles. The first time we get to talk about it here on Planet Philly. We had a fun time with the Phillies run, but this is the Eagles we're talking about here. This is a football town. Baseball rivals it. I get it. But this is a football town. Biggest game of the year. Biggest game of Jalen Hurts' career. And no rookie quarterback named Brock Purdy, a 7th-round Mr. Irrelevant, is going to come in here and beat us to go to the Super Bowl. It's not going to happen, guys. I had to get that off. I'm back in Planet Philly. I went to the other universe. It's no fun there. It's going to be a lot of fun at the Link on Saturday. Jen, I don't know. You might want to respond to that.
First of all, love the intro. And second, yeah, I have to agree. I mean, we're talking about, or we're not, but the 49ers are talking about the Cinderella story or whatever of Brock Purdy coming in, of Deebo Samuel saying, oh, our stadium's always been the loudest or whatever, as if he's ever really gotten a feel of what the Link is actually like. But we got Brock Purdy coming in, this whole Cinderella story. Well, if you've ever seen Cinderella, then at the end of the night, things go back to normal the way that they've always been. And that's kind of where we're going this weekend. There's no possible way that Brock Purdy is going to come in and not be pressured and not be nervous. Of course, nervous. I'm nervous when I walk into the stadium. And just be, and it's not happening. It's not.
Jason, your thoughts? What are your initial thoughts heading into this game? I want to hear them right here in Planet Philly.
Well, first of all, I was a little bit worried about you because I didn't know exactly where you were, and you're usually on time for things, so I was a little nervous. But hey, first of all, I'm happy that you're okay. Second of all, you know what? That entrance or that I was trying to say intro and entrance at the same time, so it came out as entrance. So I apologize about that.
We're gonna add it. We're gonna add it to the Webster Dictionary or something, and we're gonna add it.
That entrance was actually pretty fire, so I have to give you a lot of credit for that. I gotta bow to you. I don't know if you see these headsets that I'm wearing, but I think that Nick Sirianni, when the clock strikes 0 in that fourth quarter, is gonna throw these headsets, take them off like this. And he's going to be celebrating. He's going to be so happy. And everybody on that field is going to love every single play throughout this entire game. It's going to be fun. It's going to be close. But I think that the Eagles are going to grind this one out. And it really just wouldn't shock me if Jalen Hurts has the best game of his career on Sunday. No pressure, none whatsoever. But you know what? I honestly just have to tell you that I am on the high with this team. And, Nick, your entrance actually just made me even more pumped.
I'm glad it did. Guys, I don't know about you. I'm excited. I'm excited for this Sunday. I cannot wait to watch this game. Sit down, have a nice snack with me. I'm probably going to have some pasta on Sunday because why not? Pasta, some shrimp. After the game, celebratory beer. That's what we're gonna. Okay. That's what we're gonna have the beer and the booze. It's after the game we're gonna be celebrating because the Eagles are gonna go to the Super Bowl. I think that we know my pick. We'll get to our actual picks later in the show. But guys, let's start with it. I want to start with the QB matchup. It's been talked about all week. Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts, two young quarterbacks. Brock Purdy, a rookie, drafted in the 7th round last year, Mr. Irrelevant. Come on, he's played well. We can't lie. In all seriousness, he's played really well. He hasn't lost a game, 7-0 in 7 starts. Pretty good. 1-2 playoff games. Has actually more career playoff wins than Jalen Hurts as of this moment right now. So we want Jalen Hurts to tie him on Sunday. But, Jen, I kind of with going into the theme of my intro, can Brock Purdy come into Philadelphia and get it done? I mean, rookie quarterback, he's had a lot going for him already, played well, has kind of managed the game as of late. I mean, he really just managed against Dallas. I mean, only on 214 yards, no touchdowns, only scored 19 points in that ball game. Their defense carried him, and Dak, gave them a couple of turnovers. Can Purdy really come into Philadelphia against this Eagles team, or with Jason coined as the best Eagles team in their history? Can he come in there and beat this team?
And first and foremost, I don't think that they're winning this weekend. I don't really know if as long as the Eagles defense will hold up, I don't think that Purdy will be able to manage, just because, yes, he already has a playoff game under his belt. So does Jalen Hurts. So he's going to be comfortable. Brock Purdy's definitely going to be comfortable after the first couple snaps. But as long as the defense can get them razzled, like we saw with the Cowboys defense last week, and as long as the Eagles get to the score first and get up early, then I think it's going to stress out Purdy, and I don't think he's going to be able to come back.
And Jason, I want to ask you this question. How important will the coin toss be? Because I've heard rumblings about this. What do you think the best way to go about it is if you're the Eagles, you win, let's say they win the coin toss. Do you want to jump on this rookie quarterback early and have him play from behind? Would that be the best way to go about this? Especially if they can get the ball first. I don't know. I'm usually a defer guy and get it the second half, but you might want to jump on this rookie.
Okay, but see, this is a win-win situation, because let's think about it from this perspective, because he's coming in to our environment, right? He's coming into Lincoln Financial Field. He's going to hear it. Not only is he going to hear it from the fans, but they're going to be going all at him. So I look at it, glass half full, glass half empty. If he gets the ball first, the pressure's going to come to him already immediately. And with that hostile environment in Philadelphia, with all of the boos and with all the screaming and with all of that just anger, that's going to get to him. And I think that if they do get the ball first, that could most certainly help the Eagles in that sense. And I also want to set the record straight really quickly, because, none of us are saying right now, because there's people out there that probably do believe this. None of us are saying that the 49ers aren't a good team. The 49ers are a fantastic team. Okay, we got to set that straight. Yes. They are awesome. There's a reason why that they made it to the NFC Championship game. And as great as they are, okay, every team has holes, but their hole right now is at the quarterback position. And when you look at the Eagles, objectively speaking, with no bias whatsoever, they really don't have as many holes as the Niners do. Can the Niners get it done? Sure. This is one game for your life. I just think that with the environment that the Eagles are playing in, and with the 49ers coming into town, not being used to this type of a thing. We saw what happened with the Atlanta Braves when they played against the Philadelphia Phillies. They did not expect that type of environment. The San Diego Padres, the same thing. So San Francisco, when you have Deebo Samuel saying that we have we're going to expect it to be, a nice environment, but we're not going to lose sleep over it, essentially, was what he was saying over Twitter. But he doesn't know. He just has no idea what's to come. And I wanted to just set the record straight, though, tying this back all together, that the Niners really are a good team. It's just that the Eagles can most certainly and probably should get this done.
Yeah, I mean, this is the matchup we all kind of expected. I mean, that's kind of what we expected. Yeah, and,
right.
this is something we talked about towards the end of the season. We have to worry about those San Francisco 49ers. The Eagles have to worry about them. They're a good team. Their defense is coming along. They're getting healthy. And then Jimmy G goes down after Trey Lance. And now you have a third-string quarterback, and they're still playing well. I mean, they're a sign of a good team. They're a very good team. They wouldn't be here if they weren't. Now, I kind of want to move the needle back to the Eagles a little bit, though, and Jalen Hurts. Jen, all week, it seems like Jalen Hurts has gotten a lot of hate. Craig Carton of FS1 put out a top 4 quarterback list. Top 4 of quarterbacks left in the playoffs. He had Jalen Hurts ranked dead last behind Brock Purdy, who's only started 7 games. He had him behind him. Jalen Hurts dead last. Jalen Hurts probably won't win the MVP this year. He was a nominee, thank goodness, and a finalist. But what is with this Jalen Hurts hate I'm seeing? What are you having him ranked behind Brock Purdy for? And I'm seeing a lot, he's probably not going to be able to get it done. The shoulder's still going to bother him. He looked great last week, and he's practiced all week. So, what's with this Jalen Hurts hate?
Yeah, there's definitely some things that's been said, especially on Twitter. I know there's a lot of Eagles fans who are active in the Twitter community. And definitely a lot of things that's been said throughout the season is like, what if you switched out Jalen Hurts with another quarterback? The Eagles would still be the same team, yada, yada, whatever you want to say. There's definitely some underlying kind of hatred that, if you pay attention really closely, you can probably see why there's hate. And it's not probably, this podcast is probably not the place to talk about that specific kind of thing. I'll let people put 2 and 2 together there. But I will say that there's no reason to be hating a quarterback like Jalen Hurts or like the quarterbacks that the Eagles have had in the past, like, Donovan McNabb, putting 2 and 2 together here for a second. There's no reason to be really hating on a quarterback and putting anybody's differences aside. Being able to see what Jalen Hurts has done with this team in just 2 seasons should wipe out any kind of comments that people have had this season, raking him last, Chris Sims comments and everything.
He's on another level of hatred. Like it's like a dumb bit that just keeps going that he just continues to spew out there. I don't get it. Like somebody at his network should tell him, hey, like this is an awful bit. It makes literally 0 sense. Just stop it. Just stop it already. I don't get it. But continue, Jen.
Well, I was going to say Chris Sims, Dan Saleo of this sports network in Philadelphia, who's not really as credible as people would hope, and nobody really follows him anyway. But the hate surrounding Jalen Hurts, there's definitely some reasons that people have speculated about why there's so much hatred. Of course, like I said, not the podcast to be talking about such, but it's uncalled for. I mean, the stats prove it, the eye test proves it. Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback, and the hate is just uncanny.
They have 1 loss with Jalen Hurts this year at starting quarterback.
Exactly.
1 loss. What are we talking about, Jason? And I see Bart Scott on ESPN say Jalen Hurts is not a superstar, Jason. He was kind of echoing the sentiment we heard earlier in the year with Micah Parsons. What is going on this week? Are they doing it again? Is it happening again? The underdog mentality. Is that what I'm seeing again, Jason?
I mean, yeah, you can definitely phrase it that way. I just think that it's so strange to me because it's just like, what else can he do besides win a Super Bowl? Like, there's a lot of reasons why I feel like it is the way it is. Number one, let's be real. National media really does not like Philly.
No,
they really
they
don't. Okay.
Exactly.
We have to be honest with ourselves, and we have to just throw that out there because it is the truth. That's just how it goes. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. Number two, Jalen wasn't a high draft pick, right? He wasn't like a Joe Burrow type of a guy or like a Trevor Lawrence type of a guy where they were just taking out number 1. So even like when he was in college, yeah, he went to Oklahoma State, and yeah, he played, as a backup for Tua, but like he got better, but he's just never really been this high, like draft pick type of a guy who gets a lot of attention. He's always been under the radar, and he doesn't show a whole lot of flash, when it comes to making those passes, like Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, or even, some people would say that Joe Burrow doesn't really do it either, but I actually think that he does do that some of the time. That's a whole nother story, but he's not flashy. And that is what I'm trying to say. So when you have those factors that play into it, it makes it frustrating, but it fuels the locker room. And so I also think that it uses, or the Eagles can just motivate themselves from this. And I think that they're going to be good to go on Sunday, and they'll utilize this as motivation, and they'll come out with a W.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have been using a lot of this as motivation. Brandon Graham's been taking it in stride with some of the criticisms that the Eagles have taken. So, and we know how Jason Kelce is. He always wants to be that underdog. So, they're definitely, I think, going to use this as fuel from the media. But they are playing a good team, and we've talked about that, guys. And looking at the defense, we know how good the Eagles defense is. We know how good San Francisco's defense is. They're both legit. I wonder, though, because San Francisco's had a little bit of trouble in the pass game. They've allowed a lot of yards to top receivers in their past 5 games. DK Metcalf over 100 yards. CeeDee Lamb last week over 100 yards. Eagles have a lot of weapons. On the flip side, they do overall, they'll stop the run. And they do a good job in their front seven of slowing down running backs and not letting teams get going on the ground to set up the pass. So I wonder, Jen, the Eagles, listen, 70 sacks this year, rival the 1985 Bears. They also, was it third? I think third most sacks all time. Unbelievable. First ranked pass defense as well. I mean, they also can compete with this San Francisco team defensively. Who do you think has the edge defensively? Or is it just going to be who turns the ball over more? Or is it going to come down to the last minute?
That's funny because that article that I was working on an article earlier before we hopped on, and it was about the Eagles versus 49ers, like defensive personnel groups. And I kind of feel like, and I'm not just saying this because of home bias or whatever, I kind of feel like the Eagles have the edge just because we didn't see, and this is going strictly off of last week. Of course, I didn't watch the 49ers the entire season, but strictly going off of last week, I didn't see so much from the defensive backs. Of course, we had the interception and they had tackles and assists and everything. But whatever the 49ers have done last week, and of course throughout the season, is the same thing that the Eagles defensive backs and of course that front line can do. So I feel like the Eagles have a slight edge, and I just want to say that just because of the defensive backs. And plus, with the NFL honors coming out this week, with Hassan Reddick being snubbed and a couple other defensive players being snubbed, I feel like it's just going to be bulletin board material for either Hassan Reddick to have a big game, James Bradbury to have a big game, or really anybody on that defense to just go out there and have a great game.
Now, Jason, I'll give you both the numbers, Jen and Jason. CeeDee Lamb, 10 catches, 117 yards last week. DK Metcalf, 10 receptions, 136 yards the week before. AJ Green the week before, 3 receptions, 91 yards. The week before that, Devontae Adams, 7 receptions, 153 yards. They'll give up some yardage to these receivers. AJ Brown had a slow week last week, Jason. It feels like an AJ Brown game, doesn't it, Jason?
It does, and not only that, but I also think that the Eagles maybe don't necessarily establish the run early, and they already are in the passing, and just try to utilize the air a little bit. It wouldn't shock me. I'm sure that a lot of people would want them to establish the run first, and try to do really well in the ground game. But I think that this is the NFC Championship, and you really have to keep the 49ers on their toes and poke at their weaknesses. So if the secondary has been one of their main holes, attack it early. Why not? Why not? So if you can get A.J. Brown involved, if you can get Dallas Goedert some really good looks and have him get going, man, that's only going to erupt the stadium even more, and it's going to make it even tougher for the 49ers to just try to compete there, and you're putting Kyle Shanahan in a tough spot already. So why not?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, why not attack it early? I mean, you do want to try and get Miles Sanders involved, maybe a little bit of Boston Scott to throw him off. But Yeah, I mean, listen, you have Devontae Smith, you have AJ Brown. I mean, you might as well use them early on in this game. So I'm excited for it. So that's going to be a matchup you're definitely going to want to watch. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard. How are they going to be involved, and are they going to be involved early? And one other thing I wanted to bring up, I brought this up on my stream. Watching Nick Bosa, I read an article about him. He made some comments about running quarterbacks and dual threat quarterbacks. So he claimed that is the quote kryptonite of the San Francisco defense, Jen. How much of an advantage is that going to be with Jalen at the helm?
I think it's definitely going to be an advantage. Now, before when you pulled up this question, you know me, I had to go and I had to pull up the stats. And so the 4 losses that the 49ers have are against, of course, the Bears with Justin Fields, who we know is pretty much who can be a mobile quarterback, against the Broncos with Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota, and then Patrick Mahomes. But 3 of those 4 had rushing and receiving, or had rushing yards, and of course, their quarterback stats as well. So I think with Hurts being able to go out and just literally do whatever he's been doing all season, I think it's going to be a huge help and a huge threat to the 49ers, just because we've seen throughout the season that with these 4 losses, with the exception of Mahomes, with these 4 losses, they really struggled with quarterbacks who've been able to make plays both on their feet and in the air and alleviate any pressure that the quarterback was having.
Oh, that's a great stat. See, Russell Wilson, you got Mahomes in there, Justin Fields, they all lost. San Francisco lost all those quarterbacks. JJ play-by-play, what say you? Is this an advantage? Is this an advantage for the Eagles?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. The only thing that I just don't want to see is I don't want to see too many run design calls, because I think that when you're going up against this Niners defense and you're going up against Warner and Bosa and all those guys, the offensive line can only do so much to protect him. And when he's escaping the pocket, I mean, there is definitely a shot that if he continues to run, like the more times he runs, the more likely it is for him to get hurt. And and that's the last thing that anybody wants. So while I would like, obviously, because that is I almost said a superpower, but that is a weapon of his, that's like in his arsenal. I just don't want to see it too much. So that's how I feel about that. But that's what makes him so special, because he doesn't just do that. He also has an accurate arm. He's athletic. He also has a great IQ. I think that you can make the argument that he is one of the best IQs in the NFL. Like, he's so smart, and he utilizes every single part of the field, and he can understand, like, even if somebody's in double coverage, he'll throw the ball right on the money, and you can't even throw it better. So I like tying this all back together in a bow. While yes, I would like to see him run, I also just think that it's really important for him, to try to utilize everything else to his advantage too. And I don't want the offensive I don't want the coaching staff to put him in a position to fail or to get injured.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't want to see necessarily the designed runs, but if he has nothing downfield, yeah, I want to see him take off. Like, I want that part of Jalen Hurts to be successful on Sunday, because that's what's going to throw off the 49ers and that RPO stuff that they're going to use. I mean, it's how they've run their offense. And if you see Jalen Hurts just take off, I don't know if San Francisco, how great they're going to be able to combat that. And I think it's such an advantage with a dual threat quarterback of Jalen Hurts' caliber. And I just don't understand the hate. The guy's worked his butt off. He's going to get paid. He's going to be the franchise quarterback, no doubt in my mind. The jump he's made from last year to this year, it's been incredible. Something we've really not seen before, and this quickly at 24 years old. Guys, want to finish with this before we get to our picks. Home field advantages is so key. We saw this during the Phillies run. I mean, it made a clear difference. In some of those games. I mean, the crowd was unreal seeing the Phillies in the playoffs. The link is pretty much the same way, maybe even a little bit crazier at times. Are the 49ers fans, Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy, are they downplaying this, Jen, a little bit? Because Brock Purdy and Shanahan, they kind of talked about Seattle being a precursor to the Eagles game. When they went to Seattle towards the end of the regular season, Shanahan and Purdy talked about this in the press conference, saying, hey, this could get you ready for heading into Philadelphia in the playoffs if they meet. And now we're here. So getting ready with the silent count, I don't know. I don't know. Are they underrating the place that they're going to walk into in Philadelphia at the Link? Are they underrating it?
I mean, obviously, yes, but I feel like they're underrating it just because they don't want to look scared in a way, I guess you could say. Not that they would be scared, but they don't want to show to the media that like, oh, we're gonna go against a really good opponent and the home field advantage is crazy good. So I do think they are, with that being said, I do think they are underrating it, but 49ers fans also do travel well. I'm not saying it's going to be packed with 49ers fans. We know it's going to be packed with Eagles fans. But 49ers fans do travel well. And apparently somebody put a 49ers attire on the Rocky statue. So they must be traveling. So if that's if they didn't learn the lesson, or if they didn't take that lesson from the Giants or the Vikings, then I don't know what to tell them. But I do think the staff is kind of underrating what they're going up against, because they're really not even going against the team. Well, they are. They're not just going against the team. They're going against 69,000 fans as well.
Yeah. Jason, I'm going to throw it to you. Brian Snedeker, manager of the Atlanta Braves, kind of echoed the similar sentiment that we're hearing from the 49ers side of things heading into this game. Yep. Should they keep on doing it? Should they keep on doing it and just keep saying how it's similar to other places? Coming into Philadelphia for an NFC Championship game is not like any other place you're going to play.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to continue to light the fire in the Eagles, then do it. By all means do it, because it's really just hurting them. And that's literally all that they're doing. You know, they're literally like shooting themselves in the foot, and they just have to stop. They really have to stop doing that, because if they want to compete really hard, and if they just like want to go out there and they want to dominate the game, they're going to have to try to take the fans out of it. That's really going to be the main thing. And now you're just lighting a fire into the fans, and you know, people are going to be even louder. I'm sure that the decibel levels, you know, when people look at their iPhones, they're going to be loud. And it's going to be to the point like where you're going to get those deaf notifications again to like put earbuds in. That's how it's going to be.
Listen.
And then the other thing I want to say too, not to get a little bit off topic here, because it's really not, but I also just feel like that the weather is going to impact a lot on Sunday. Has Brock Purdy really played in the cold weather? How's he going to do in the cold when it comes to throwing the ball? I don't know if I trust him.
5 straight home games they've played in. They haven't been on the road in a long time. I mean,
and they've been playing in like 50, 60-degree weather, so it's not 30. Right. You know, so that makes an impact as well.
Listen, guys. It's that time. It's that time. I mean, we talked about it all week. It's like it just drags. When you want something like this so bad, it just drags. So, guys, we got to pick the game. I mean, we've talked about it enough. Jen's going to give you the best bets on Saturday morning. But after that, I mean, what's there really to talk about? I mean, the game's almost here. We're ready to go. I know we're ready to go. Jen, you're going to start it off. Who do you got? Who's winning? Who is going to the Super Bowl?
You know, I would love to say Eagles 38-7 just because of that whole Rocky thing, but obviously we don't think. I mean, we don't know, but I don't really see the likelihood of that happening. However, I do still have the Eagles, and of course I'll preview this in my bets, but I really strongly feel like the over is going to hit, so I do have the Eagles winning 28-24.
There we go. That's one. I'm
not going to lie. I thought you were going to pull a Jonathan Gannon, kind of like what you did a couple of weeks ago, saying that, you know, I want to pick the Eagles, but like I have to go with the 49ers. But then as soon as you said, as soon as you finished your sentence, because you took a pause there, I was holding my breath for a quick second.
Yeah, no, we're in crunch time now. It's got to be all 100% in on the team, no matter who it is on the team. All Jason. Jonathan Gannon comments aside.
Yeah, So I mean, obviously, I have to go with the Eagles too. Now, do I think it's going to be a low-scoring game? I think it's going to come down to. I think it's going to be a nail biter. I do. I think that the Eagles, if they want to win this game, they have to start off very strong because the Niners haven't really been doing so good in that first half. Like they make those adjustments. They've been making a lot of adjustments at the halftime, and going into that second half, they've definitely showed a lot of difference in their play with Brock and with their offense and even their defensive adjustments. But the Eagles have to start off strong, and I think that when you look at that Niners defense, right? They're going to struggle, obviously, against the receivers. We all know that. But if the game were to be really close, I'm just going to say this really quickly. Robbie Gold, I trust him more than I trust Jake Elliott. We can talk about that another day, but I have to say that. But I really do feel like that the Eagles are going to come on. They're going to come out on top, and they're going to win by a final score of 21-18.
Wow.
21 to 18.
Oh, nail biter. A nail biter.
Yeah.
Oh man, my anxiety is going to be through the roof if that's the case.
21 to 18.
Listen. It's been a heck of a season for the Eagles. Heck of a season. I mean, Jason, you mentioned it before. Maybe the best team in Eagles history, talent-wise at least,
It is.
at this point. Jen, you like the over in this game? You think the Eagles are going to win? And damn, I do too. I think the Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl. I really do. This is going to be a close game. I think it is. We've all picked pretty close scores. I'm going 27-20. I think it's a one-touchdown game. I think the Eagles defense gets a stop in the end. I think that's what's going to happen. I think the Eagles defense comes up with a big stop at the end of the game and it's going to seal it. It could be an interception. Could be another fumble. I don't know what it's going to be, but they're going to be up a touchdown in the end. And I think they're going to close it out with a defensive stop. And man, it's going to be fun. Oh man, Sunday, 3:00. Can't wait. Jen, Jason, final words. Jen first.
I'm just excited. And going off of what you were mentioning earlier, I've been having anxiety since this morning because I woke up, put on my Eagles gear. I have the shirt here that says winning is for the birds. Just a little positive affirmation there. Just something felt different in the air for this weekend about the birds. But now like the worrying is starting to kick in. But like, the saying, if you're worried, get a dog. And I have 5 for that very reason. So with that being said,
my dog was here before the show. I don't know where he went.
Yeah, I saw that. That's why I thought you were walking your dog. I didn't know where you went.
A little appearance on Planet Philly would have been great. But with that being said, I'm just excited to see the Eagles be fired up, have this NFL honor snub under them, going back to being the underdogs, went from being the fan favorite at the beginning of the season in the national media to back to being underdogs. I'm just super excited to see what happens.
Jason?
The last thing I want to say is that if Kyle Shanahan if it comes down to clock management, I've seen Kyle Shanahan, as great as a coach as he is, I have seen him not do so good at clock management, and it goes all the way back. It was all the way back to when they played the Kansas City Chiefs in that Super Bowl in 2020. That was 2020, right?
I believe so.
No. It was 2019. Yep. I'm sorry. No, it was 2019, 2020. I was right. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I had to fact check myself, but it goes back to that game. And if it's if they're in dire needs of just getting a touchdown, I don't trust the Niners in that sense. Watching the Eagles play on Saturday and watching the Niners play on Sunday, if you would have told me 2 weeks ago, I would have been more worried about the Niners. But it's the complete opposite. I actually have all the confidence in the world in the Eagles right now. I think that they have a lot of veterans, okay? A lot of people want to make the argument that the Niners have more veterans and, they've been there before. The Eagles do too. The Eagles have a lot of dogs. They have a lot of guys that have this experience, and every single person in that locker room, even the young guys, it feels like they've been in the league for like 15 years. with the way that they play and with the way that they hold their demeanor and all that sort of stuff. So they have a huge advantage in that regard. But I really do feel like if the Eagles have to get a stop and if the Niners have to try to manage the clock, it's going to go into the Eagles' favor.
It's going to be a fun one, guys. It's going to be a fun one. I expect us next week on our lives, on our next episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of party. Maybe I'll drink a beer on the pod next time. We'll see. But guys, remember to follow us at Planet Philly Pod. That's at Planet Philly Pod, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure to follow us when we stream, and we'll be all next week reacting no matter what happens. I think it's going to be a party. Go Birds. We'll see you next time, guys, right here.